My sister secretly recorded my therapy session, then played it for the whole family. I went to therapy to heal. She turned my healing into humiliation. My name is Amina. I'm 28, and I've always been the quiet one, the listener, the peacemaker. The one who forgives, even when I'm bleeding, but not this time. Not after what my sister did. Started therapy 6 months ago. I didn't tell anyone at first, not because I was ashamed, but because I wanted it to be mine. Just mine, safe, private. Sacred. My therapist's name is Mahira, kind, gentle. She made me feel like I wasn't broken, like I was allowed to speak, to cry, to be angry. I spoke about everything, my childhood, my fears, my anxiety, but mostly, I talked about my sister. Sana, 31, smart, popular, and cruel in ways no one else sees. Growing up, she made fun of my stutter, told our cousins I peed the bed once when I was 6. She laughed when I cried, but in front of our parents, she was perfect. So I stayed silent. And it got worse. I once told her I liked a boy in college. She messaged him from a fake profile and humiliated me in front of him. He ghosted me. She laughed for days. But when I told Mahira, she didn't laugh. She asked, "Why do you still talk to her?" And I said, "Because she's family." And I believed that, for a long time, until last Sunday. The day everything exploded. It was my father's birthday, a small family gathering. Our parents, cousins, uncles, a UNTI, Sana was there. Of course, smiling, loud, commanding attention like she always did. I was in the kitchen, helping Mom with fruit salad when I heard my name. Mina, come here. I walked into the lounge. Everyone was quiet, staring at the TV. A voice stopped my voice, crying, shaking, saying words I only said a therapy room. I froze. My voice, my secrets, my pain. Playing, loudly, like a movie. For entertainment, I always felt like a shadow. Sana got all the light. She called me ugly at 14. I stopped eating for days. My legs gave out. I sat on the floor, felt like I couldn't breathe. My father muted the screen. Turned to me, confused. What is this? Sana stepped forward. Fake innocence on her face. It's just a voice note I found. I thought we all needed to hear it. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. I was dying inside. My mom looked at me. Then at Sana, then back at me. Amina, what is this? I couldn't speak. My throat was tight. Tears were falling, but no words came out. Sana smirked. I mean, if you're saying stuff like that about me, in therapy, don't you think we deserve to hear it? That was the moment my silence snapped. I stood up, looked her in the eyes. You recorded me? I whispered. When? She didn't answer, so I shouted, WHEN. My dad stepped between us. Girls, calm down. But I couldn't calm down. I was shaking, burning, humiliated. I trusted you, I said. I told you I was going to therapy to feel better, to breathe again, and you turned it into a show. She rolled her eyes. Drama queen. You always make everything about you. I left. Didn't even grab my purse. I walked out the door and kept walking, 15 blocks, tears streaming, my hands trembling. I went to a friend's place, lay on the floor, stared at the ceiling, and just broke. The next morning I got texts. Dozens. My cousins, some horrified, some confused, some asking, is it true? My mom called. I didn't pick up. Sana texted, don't be so sensitive. It's not like you named me directly. I wanted to disappear. I wanted the earth to open up and swallow me. Then Mahira called. I didn't know how she knew. She said, are you safe? And I sobbed. She said, Amina, you didn't do anything wrong. This is not your shame to carry. And that was when I realized she was right. I wasn't the one who crossed the line. I wasn't the one who broke trust. I was the victim of cruelty. Again. But not anymore. I called my mom back. She answered fast. Amina, Beta, are you okay? No, I said clearly. I'm not okay, and I won't pretend I am just to keep the family peace. She was quiet, then whispered, I'm sorry. And I could tell, she meant it. Then she said something that made me cry again. I deleted the clip. Your father didn't know what to say. He's upset, but we're not angry at you. I asked, what about her? Sana left. Your uncle took her home. He said she's being immature, but immature wasn't the word. It was malicious, and I decided to confront her, not with rage, not with shouting, but with truth, with boundaries. With power. Because she wanted me to stay small. To stay quiet. To stay ashamed. But I wasn't that girl anymore. I was going to speak, loud, clear, and this time, everyone was going to hear it from me. Not through her twisted edits, because my voice belongs to me. And I'm done letting her use it as a weapon. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes I heard it. My own voice. Crying. Exposing my heart. And then, laughter. Her voice. Mocking. Cold. By morning, I had made up my mind. I wasn't going to run. I wasn't going to hide. I was going to speak, publicly, clearly, loud enough, that even she couldn't twist it. The first thing I did, I called Mahira. Are you sure you want to do this? She asked. Yes, I answered. I want people to know. I want them to hear it from me. Mahira gave me the words, the calm, the clarity. Then she said something I'll never forget. You're not just healing now. You're defending the space that was stolen from you. I opened my notes app. Started writing. Every word from my heart. No filters. No fear. The post began like this. This is my voice. The one you all heard without my permission. I wrote for 3 hours. Deleted, rewrote, cried, paused, then finished it. At 4:07 p.m. I posted it. Facebook, Instagram, and even Twitter. The caption. This is what happened to me. This is who did it. This is why I'm not staying silent. Within minutes, my phone lit up. Friends, cousins, strangers, hundreds of likes, dozens of messages. And one very long call from my cousin Hira, Amina. I had no idea. I thought Sana was just teasing. I didn't know she recorded you. She played it like it was a joke. She made it seem like you were overreacting. That it was just a little venting. I said nothing. Then she asked, are you okay? And for the first time in days I answered honestly. I think I'm getting there. But not everyone was on my side. That night I got a text from an unknown number. It read, you're embarrassing the family. Delete that nonsense, no name. But I knew it was from Sana's best friend. The same girl who laughed when I got stood up in college. I didn't reply. I posted a second story. Just one sentence. The only thing more shameful than speaking the truth is hiding it to protect the ones who hurt you. The next day my mom called. I read everything, she said. I'm sorry, Amina. We let it go too far. We didn't protect you. I cried. Amma, do you believe me now? I do, she said. And her voice broke. I saw it all in your eyes that day in the lounge, but I didn't stop her. I'm sorry. It was all I needed. But there was one thing left. One person I had to face. Sana. I messaged her. Let's talk. Just us, tomorrow, 5 p.m. you know where. She didn't reply. Until an hour before. Fine. The place I chose was neutral. A cafe near the park where we used to go as kids. Where we'd sit eating chips, sharing secrets, before she turned them into weapons. I arrived early, ordered tea. Sat by the window. My hands weren't shaking. My heart wasn't racing. I was ready. She walked in wearing black shades, hair straightened, nails painted. Still looking like the sister everyone adored. Except now I could see right through it. She sat down. Didn't look at me, so, she said. Arms crossed. I took a breath. Looked her in the eye. You crossed a line, she scoffed. Relax, you made a mountain out of a voice note. I stared. You recorded my therapy session. Then played it. At Appa's birthday, in front of our entire family. You violated me, and then laughed about it. She leaned forward. Voice cold. You've always been the dramatic one, Amina, crying in corners, making up problems. And now this therapy thing gave you a stage. I smiled. For the first time in front of her I smiled, because I realized she was scared of the attention, of losing control. You hate that I'm finally speaking, I said. That people are listening. That your lies aren't working anymore. She didn't deny it. Just rolled her eyes. I don't care what people think. Then I dropped the last piece. You should, because I spoke to a lawyer. Her face shifted, subtle, but I saw it. What? It's illegal to record someone without their consent. Especially in private mental health sessions. You could be charged. She laughed. Nonsense. I slid a paper across the table. Read it. She did. Her hands trembled. I'm not filing anything, yet. But if you try to twist my story again, if you harass me or contact my therapist, I will. She stood up. Unbelievable. I stood too. And one more thing. Don't speak for me again. You've lost that right. She walked out, fuming. And I sat down smiling, for once. Not broken, not scared, not small. I paid for my tea. Stepped outside. The sun was warm. The wind soft. And for the first time in years, I felt weightless. When I got home, I opened my laptop, started writing again. Not posts, not rants, a book. My story. My truth. And on the first page I wrote, "This is how I found my voice after years of silence, and how I made sure no one ever stole it again." It's been 1 week since I confronted Sana. 1 week since I told her I wouldn't stay quiet, and for a few days, it felt peaceful. She stopped texting. My family went silent. My social media calmed down. I finally had space to write, to rest, to just breathe. But it didn't last, because she wasn't done. Not by a long shot. It started with a story posted by Sana late at night, with a black background and white text. "People will believe anything if you cry hard enough." No name, no tags, but everyone knew. Then came the post, a reel, clips of family photos, laughter, vacations, our childhood, and the caption, "We were a happy family until therapy taught her to turn love into lies." That one hurt, because it looked so real, so perfect, so innocent, like I was the villain who destroyed the peace. The comments rolled in. "Poor Sana. People change when they get attention. She's always been jealous. Therapy brainwashes you." I couldn't take it. I turned off my phone, cried into my pillow, felt all the pain rushing back. All I wanted was to heal. Not to fight, not to defend, just to finally feel safe in my own mind. But now everyone was choosing sides, and I was losing. Again. That night Mahira called. She had seen the post. I said, "I feel like I'm breaking again." She paused, then said, "Let her scream into the void. You don't owe her silence. But you also don't owe her a stage." I nodded, even though I was crying. Then I asked, "What if everyone believes her?" She replied, "Let them. The ones who matter know your truth. And the ones who don't were never really with you." So I waited 3 days, then posted one photo, black and white, a journal, a pen, and a single sentence. "My story is still being written, and it's mine now. No name, no tag, no drama. Just me. Taking space. And something changed. The next day I got a DM from my youngest cousin Nia. She's 19, quiet, shy. She wrote, "Api, I saw what Sana did. And I want you to know, she did it to me too." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" I replied, "Nita said when she was 16, she told Sana a secret about a boy she liked. 2 weeks later, that boy blocked her, said she was too desperate, that she messaged him too much, that she was crazy. Except, she didn't do any of that. But someone did. Someone using her number. It was Sana, pretending to be Nita, harassing the boy until he ran away." I sat there frozen. 1 victim wasn't a mistake. 2 was a pattern. Then came another message from an old friend. We hadn't spoken in years. She wrote, "I know what Sana did to you. She did it to me in college too." The story was different, but the pain was the same. Backstabbing, lies, cruelty hidden under charm. I realized something. I wasn't alone. Sana's mask was cracking. People were remembering. People were speaking. And so was I. I decided to write a final post. Not to fight, not to shame. But to speak truth. For everyone who had been silenced like me, here's what I wrote. "To anyone who thinks I'm dramatic, I hope you never have your pain played on a speaker like entertainment. I hope your worst fears never become someone else's joke. And to those who supported me, thank you. You helped me remember that my voice matters. To my sister, I forgive you. Not because you asked, not because you changed, but because I'm done carrying your cruelty." It went viral. Thousands of shares. Hundreds of comments. Strangers messaged me, told me their own stories, their own Sanas, their own silent scars, and I realized I had done something bigger than speak. I had opened a door for others. That Sana. She didn't post again. Not for weeks. Eventually she deleted all her old stories. Even the happy family reel. I think she knew. The truth had a life now. And she couldn't bury it again. My family changed too. My mom started therapy. My dad apologized again, with tears in his eyes, and said, "I should have seen her for who she was. But I'm seeing you now." That meant everything. Nita and I grew close. She said, "I used to think being quiet meant being weak. But you showed me it's actually the beginning of strength." And me? I kept writing. Page after page, turning my wounds into chapters, turning my silence into strength. Because healing isn't a straight road. It's a circle, a climb. A quiet revolution that starts with one word colon enough dot. And now when I look in the mirror, I don't see a shadow. I see a girl who survived betrayal, who turned pain into power, and who will never, ever let someone else tell her story again. It had been 4 weeks since I posted my final message, since I forgave Sana, not because she deserved it, but because I needed peace. I'd started healing, writing, smiling again. I had friends who believed me, family that finally saw me, and silence, sweet beautiful silence from Sana. Until last Friday. I was watering my plants when my phone buzzed. A text from her. Can we meet? Just talk. I think we need closure. I stared at it, heart pounding. Why now? What did she want? My first instinct, delete, ignore, run, but a part of me, a very small part, still wanted answers. I didn't reply right away. Instead I messaged Mahira. She wants to meet, shall I go? Her reply came quick. Only if it's for you. Not for her, and only if you feel safe, so I thought. And thought. That I replied, 1 hour, at the old park bench. Same place, neutral ground, no audience. She showed up late. Of course, sunglasses, designer bag. Smile like nothing ever happened. Hi, she said like we were meeting for brunch. Hi, I replied flatly. She sat, crossed her legs. I read your posts. She started. All of them. I waited. I didn't think it would blow up like that. There it was, her usual deflection. Her usual way of pretending it wasn't that bad. I stayed silent. She kept going. You always make things sound worse than they are, Amina. But I didn't mean to hurt you. I raised an eyebrow. You played my therapy session in front of our entire family. She sighed. I know, it was wrong. I panicked. I was trying to prove that you were twisting things. I swallowed my anger. So your solution was to violate me? She looked away. I didn't think it through. I was scared. You made me look bad. That sentence froze me. I made you look bad? She shrugged. I've always been the strong one, the fun one. People expect me to be perfect. Then you start therapy, and suddenly I'm the villain. I took a deep breath. Because I knew what this was. Not remorse, not apology, but image control. You're not sorry, I said. You're uncomfortable because people finally saw who you really are. She stiffened. I'm here, aren't I? She snapped. Trying to fix things? No, I said calmly. You're here because you lost control. Because your mask slipped, and you think one conversation will make me rewrite the story. I stood up. She reached for my arm. Amina, wait. I pulled away. Closure isn't something you give me, Sana. I already found it. Without you. And I walked away. Again. This time, with no tears, no regrets. No doubt. Because now I knew, she didn't want peace. She wanted silence. Mine. And I wasn't giving it to her. Not anymore. That night I wrote a letter. To myself. To the girl I used to be. You did it. You faced her. And you didn't crumble. You stood tall for the little girl who hid in corners while everyone laughed. You're not invisible anymore. You're real. You're healing. You're free. And then, something beautiful happened. My mom messaged me a photo. She was holding my old childhood sketchbook. I found this in the attic. Thought you'd want it. I hadn't seen it in years. Pages full of quiet dreams. Poems, drawings, ideas I was too scared to share. Now I wasn't scared anymore. I took the sketches and started something new, a project. A storybook for girls like me, with loud sisters, and silent hearts, for girls whose pain got laughed at, but who rose anyway. I called it, The Quiet One Speaks. It started small. A few pages, some illustrations, a handful of poems, then I posted about it. And the response, it was beyond anything I expected. People asked to buy it, to share it in schools, to read it to their daughters. One woman wrote, my niece stopped talking after being bullied by her sister. I read your poem to her. She smiled for the first time in weeks. I cried, hard, happy tears, because this was healing. This was purpose, this was power. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need validation. I just needed to keep going. Too. Keep writing, keep creating, keep speaking. As for Sana, she faded. No more posts, no more stories. Just silence. Maybe she was reflecting. Maybe not. But it didn't matter, because for once, her silence didn't scare me. It freed me. And now, every morning I look at myself in the mirror and whisper, you are not what she said. You are what you survived. and that makes you unshakable. It started with an email from a woman named Lena, subject line, "Your words saved my daughter." At first, I thought it was spam, but I clicked out and read, "Dear Amina, my 13-year-old has been bullied by her cousin for 2 years. I found your post, then your storybook." She read it cover to cover, then came to me crying and said, "This is how I feel, Mom. Thank you for giving her the words when I couldn't." I cried. Then replied, "Thank you for trusting me. I wrote it for girls like her, for girls like I used to be." After that, the messages kept coming, from mothers, teachers, therapists. Some wanted to order books. Some just wanted to say thank you. One day, I got tagged in a video a little girl, maybe 10, reading one of my poems on stage, shaking hands. But a loud voice him at the end, a huge smile. That video went viral. 20,000 likes. Thousands of comments. Was stunned. Then came the next email. From a publishing company. They wanted to turn The Quiet One Speaks into a full-length children's book. Nationwide. My hands shook as I read the words. They wanted to sign me. The girl whose sister mocked her pain. The girl who hid in corners. The girl who thought no one would listen. Now people were listening, loudly. I called Mahira. She screamed, cried, then screamed again. "You did this, Amina. You turned trauma into triumph." And yet, with every step forward, a shadow still followed. Sana. She hadn't messaged me since the park bench, but I could feel her watching, liking random posts, lurking. I blocked her, but not before I saw one comment she left under someone else's post. Funny how some people get famous just for crying about their families. I took a deep breath. She was bitter, but she was powerless now. Or so I thought. A week later, I was invited to speak at a girls' empowerment event. My first public talk. Real stage, real mic, real audience. I was nervous, but excited. I wore a light blue kurta, hair tied back. Holding my journal in one hand, I stepped on stage. Heart racing, hands cold. But when I saw the little girls in the front row, something clicked. I began. When I was younger, I thought silence was strength, that if I didn't complain, I was good. But then one day, someone took my silence and made it a joke, and I realized speaking isn't weakness, it's survival. The crowd clapped. Some cried. I finished to a standing ovation. But backstage, as I packed my things, I heard a voice, one I hadn't heard since that awful birthday night. "Amina." I turned, and there she was. Sana, in person. No makeup, hair tied in a messy bun, eyes swollen. I froze. "What are you doing here?" She looked at me, for the first time, not with pride, not with anger, but with shame. "I watched your speech," she whispered. "I didn't know, I didn't realize how much it hurt you." I raised my eyebrows. "You knew, Sana, you just didn't care." She took a shaky breath. "I've lost everyone. Mom barely speaks to me. Dad avoids me. Nita blocked me. You're all I had." Her voice cracked. "I was cruel. I made fun of you. Because I thought if people focused on your pain, they'd forget mine." I stayed silent. She wiped her face. "I'm not here to ask for forgiveness. I know I don't deserve it. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry, truly, deeply." I looked at her. This girl who used to tower over me emotionally, verbally, now she was small, real. "I believe your apology," I said. "But that doesn't mean we go back to before." She nodded. "I know. I wouldn't either." We stood there in silence, not as sisters, not as enemies, but as women who had finally spoken every unsaid word. Before she left, she turned to me. "You're stronger than I ever gave you credit for." And with that she walked away. I didn't cry, I didn't run. I just stood there and breathed, because closure doesn't always come with hugs. Sometimes it comes with honesty. That night I added a final poem to my book. Titled, "For the Girl Who Finally Said No More." You were never too sensitive, never too emotional. You were brave for feeling, strong for surviving, and powerful for speaking. Your story is no longer whispered. It's sung. 6 months later, everything changed. Not overnight, but close. My storybook, The Quiet One Speaks, was now on shelves. In schools, in libraries, in homes. Kids were reading it. Teachers were assigning it. Parents were crying over it. I was invited to speak at schools, conferences, even television. A girl who once couldn't speak without shaking, now standing on stages with her voice clear, strong, unapologetic. Then came the offer from a major media agency. They wanted to adapt my book into an animated series. I stared at the email for hours. An actual series. For kids, to teach them about emotions, siblings, boundaries, healing. My voice would become their stories. I called Mahira again. She screamed. Louder than last time. Then whispered, "You're building a world you needed as a child." And she was right. But with opportunity came decisions. The agency wanted me to move to another city, LA, full creative meetings, press tours, busy schedule. Part of me was thrilled. But another part, terrified. Would I lose myself again in all the noise? Would I forget why I started? Would my voice be theirs now? I needed clarity. So I did something I hadn't done in a long time. I visited my old childhood room, still dusty, still quiet, still holding echoes of the girl who used to cry herself to sleep. I sat on the floor, opened my old journal, and reread the poem I had written after that terrible birthday. I don't know if I matter. I don't know if they'll listen. But I know I can't stay silent anymore. I smiled. Because now, the whole world was listening, but not because I shouted, not because I blamed, but because I told the truth as gently and powerfully as I could. Later that week, my mom came in, sat beside me, held my hand. She said, "You know, I used to wish you were more like Sana, louder, social, bright. Now I realize you were the light all along." I cried in her arms. The kind of cry that only comes after years of waiting to be seen. Then came the unexpected. A handwritten letter. From Sana, mailed. No phone, no email, just ink on paper. "Dear Amina, I watched your interviews. Read your book. I've been in therapy too, and it's hard. I didn't realize how broken I was until I saw what healing looked like on you. I don't expect a relationship, but I hope you're proud of what you've done, because I am. Love. Sana." I sat with that letter for a long time. It didn't erase the pain, but it softened it, because this time it wasn't a trick or performance. It was growth. Hers? I didn't reply right away. Instead, I forgave her silently, not to let her in, but to let myself be free. Then I made my decision. I said yes to the series. But on my terms. 1 foot in LA, 1 foot back home. I built a small team. People I trusted. Mahira included. Because no dream is worth losing your soul. And guess what? The show launched. Bright colors, soft voices, big feelings. Kids loved it. Parents shared it. Therapists used it. But the best part? Every episode ended with a little girl sitting at her window whispering, "I don't have to be loud to be heard." That line became a mantra for thousands, and I realized that was me. That was her. The girl I used to be. She was finally free. And finally loved. One day, at a bookstore event, a little girl walked up to me. HAB too big for her tiny head, eyes wide. Clutching my book, she said, "My sister's mean. But you made me feel like maybe I can still be happy." I knelt beside her. Held her hand, and whispered, "You already are." And that's how I knew this story was never just mine. It belonged to every quiet girl who was told to stay small. To every child who thought silence was safer. To every broken heart still beating. So here's the truth. Yes, my sister hurt me. Yes, she mocked my pain. Yes, she tried to silence me. But I survived. And then I soared. Because your voice is not too soft. Not too late. Not too weak. Your voice is your superpower. Use it even if it shakes.